Despite losing their franchise player in Jason Tatum to a torn Achilles back in May, coming off a season just a couple years ago where they won an NBA championship as well, the Celtics found themselves in a situation where it looked like the expectations of being a title contender for once, in the Tatum era especially, were kind of getting dialed back because of the fact that he was going to miss a whole season most likely. The team was going to have to get revamped. A lot of people thought this team would most likely either be a play-in team or they'd probably just decide to punt the season as a whole and come back next year. But the Boston Celtics have not done that. They have found a way to manage, despite not having their best player, despite losing key pieces in the offseason. They are 19 and 12. They are third in the Eastern Conference behind New York and Detroit. In net rating, they're actually ahead of Detroit and not too far behind the Knicks. Mind you, I just said, this team lost their franchise player. They lost key rotation pieces like Drew Holiday, like KP, like Al Horford, like Luke Cornett. These guys were important to a team that won a title just 2 years ago and was not that far from making the conference finals again this past season. Right now, the Celtics missing a lot of guys, obviously, but they're an above average team on both sides of the ball. And obviously their identity is, firing away from beyond the arc. They're still prevalent with that, being ranked second and third in three-point shots made and taken per game. But when it comes to giving credit to the players on this team, you don't have to look far. Because Jaylen Brown, a guy who a lot of people will consider, I guess you could say, a top 20 player in the league. Some people, not the biggest fan of him. Some people are huge fans of him. I'm in the boat of I think he's a really good player, right? I think he's an all-star caliber guy. Some people could argue he's a superstar caliber guy. But this season, can't take nothing away from him. He is playing like an MVP candidate. He's having a career year, averaging 30 points per game or nearly 30 points per game. And Brown is truly having his own Scottie Pippen 94 type of season where Michael Jordan decided to retire to play baseball. And he took over that Bulls team and he led them to almost an Eastern Conference Finals appearance despite missing the best player in the world. Now, you're not missing the best player in the world here, but this is a guy like Tatum, top five-ish player in the league. And Jaylen Brown has taken over the reins and he has done a great job. You can't even take nothing away. He's been a mid-range assassin and he could end up having possibly a similar year to that Scottie Pippen season with his team potentially being a 50-win season from the Celtics with everything that's gone on and expectations basically just being all the way dialed back. This team winning 50-plus games would be a really huge achievement in my opinion. And like Joe Mazzulla especially would have to get some type of coach of the year consideration at least because it would be super impressive. But Jaylen Brown has gotten some help. He's gotten guys like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, who have really good seasons as well. And one thing I would say is I think there's some like sneaky, underrated, solid depth on this roster that I like. And guys have gotten opportunity, especially with everything that's happened, to get some minutes and see what they can do. Jordan Walsh is having a pretty good season, and I've seen him play a few times this year. And obviously I know who he is from, high school, Arkansas, whatever. But he plays really hard. He plays defense. He's going to get after it. Got some size. Another guy I like is Hugo Gonzalez, a rookie. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't even know who he was, to be honest. But he has impressed me when I've watched him play. And these guys are getting opportunity to show what they can do, and it's big time because the day Jason Tatum does come back, or let's just say, I think this team's making the playoffs, right? Seems like a pretty safe bet. Those guys are going to get minutes and they're going to get experience in high leverage situations. This is a big year for guys like that to see what they're made of in big time situations and whether or not they're playable, are they not playable, how long are they playable for. All these things matter for the big picture of the organization. Now, if you want to talk about what this team can improve on, I think they do need a big, or at least another type of big body, just someone that hits the glass, gets some rebounds, because right now the rebounding is not great. It's pretty much like average to below league average. And a lot of people were mentioning, maybe getting a Zubac trade in there. I mean, the Clippers do suck, even though, they've kind of won some games recently now, so who knows what they do by the time February comes. But if the Celtics could pull a move off like that, it'd be super impressive because Zubac is a really good player, and I think he is still underrated despite having some good productive years recently. But yeah, I think the Celtics could use a big, some type of size. But another thing, or the main thing really, is Jason Tatum. I mean, if Jason Tatum, they haven't shut him down yet. If there's a chance that this man comes back late in the season, gets to, get his feet wet in some like last minute regular season games, get his feet wet, see what he could do, and he's able to give you some playoff minutes here. I mean, it's kind of a scary team. Not saying they're like a favorite to win the East. I don't think they would be because everything would be so probably last minute. And I just don't think their team currently is as strong as New York or Detroit. But like they'd be a threat if Tatum were to be on this team by the time the playoffs come to knock off anybody in the Eastern Conference because this team's playing really well. They're a well-oiled machine. They just know how to play the right way. Jaylen Brown's playing like Superman. And if you could add a Tatum back into the fold with maybe some deadline acquisitions, see what Brad Stevens does, we're looking at a Celtics team that I'm not going to fully count them out yet of doing anything in the East. Not just yet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to win the East, but I got my eye on the Celtics for the rest of the season unless we get word that Tatum is like confirmed out for the year or like something bad happens, which I hope wouldn't happen, but you never know, right? But that's all I'm saying. Keep an eye on this Celtics team because I don't think they're going away for the rest of the season, and they got a really nice stretch coming up where they can still get some more wins and keep climbing in the standings potentially, depending on what happens with New York, who got a tough schedule after this Pelicans game, and Detroit, who's kind of lost a couple games here recently, so who knows? Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the checkup. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.